Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new review here on Max Movies, and today I'm reviewing American Pickle, which is about a character named Herschel, who was in 1919. He immigrated from his original country to the United States to find wealth for his family. He is played by Seth Rogen. He then finds himself stuck in this pickle broth for over 100 years. He stays alive, stays the same age. He then wakes up in modern-day Brooklyn and wonders which family members are still alive in his lineage, and there's one remaining, and that character is Ben, his great-grandson, played by Seth Rogen. How do they interact? Herschel wants to do a pickle business, while Ben is still working on this app development that he continues to work on. My name is Max Sinberg. Thanks for joining me on Max Talks Movies. Today, I'll be reviewing American Pickle, the very first HBO Max original film. I really was excited for this movie. Are you excited for this movie? If you were excited for this movie, let me know in the comments section down below. Have you already seen An American Pickle, which came out today? If you have, let me know in the comment section your overall thoughts, non-spoiler, so people don't get spoiled by the movie, of your review of An American Pickle. Leave me a rating down below. For now, guys, if you're used to my reviews, I normally go through my positives, then my negatives, then I give you my overall score. Today, I'm just going to talk about the movie, then go to my score. I think it's much easier for me. The best way to support Max Talks Movies, guys, by the way, is to hit that like button, share this video, comment, as I said earlier, and subscribe to the channel. Ring that bell for notifications. I have a big weekend. I have another review tomorrow for the new Netflix movie. Then Saturday, I'm back on live on air with my friend Joe. We'll be talking about Pixar villains. But first, let's talk about An American Pickle. I was very excited for this movie. I really enjoyed the trailer. I do have HBO Max. And I have a lot of videos on HBO Max if you wanted to check out. Put it next to my head at the end of this video. But I'm a huge Seth Rogen fan. He can stretch from drama. I think he really proved himself in the drama field in Steve Jobs when he was played Wozniak. And then he can do ridiculous. It's like This Is the End, The Interview, Pineapple Express, Sausage Party, all these different times. He can be raunchy and ridiculous. I just love all of Seth Rogen. So I was really excited to see this movie because he's playing two performances here. And I was very worried, though, about how this would turn out. It could be really dumb, still funny enough, but really a dumb movie. And this movie takes itself, definitely, it knows exactly what it is, but there's a lot of heart to it. There's a lot more emotion than I thought. I think so. There's a lot more drama / emotion than there is comedy in this movie. The movie definitely is funny because Herschel's character, who is on my right, he is the great-great-grandfather. He was been in pickle broth for 100 years. It's a really fish out of water sequence. What it would be like if you were basically Captain America's situation, how you're basically frozen or you're stuck in this thing for 100 years. You come back and society has completely changed. Standards have changed. Technology has changed. The way you talk, the way you exclaim your points, the way you even pray, religion changes in that 100 years. And how do you react to that, especially when you're interacting with your own grandson, great-great-grandson, who's the same age as you? Both characters are done perfectly by Seth Rogen. It's not a joke. You take these two characters very seriously. They're very distinct. You don't think Seth Rogen just playing around in this movie. He really is kind of just Seth Rogen as Ben, who's on my left here. But on the right, Herschel is such a good character. You're not really thinking about Seth Rogen playing on the accent. It feels real. You never really feel like he's just performing this accent or it's super fake. You just go with the flow of the movie. And Seth Rogen is literally on screen in every scene. It's his movie for sure. There's not really supporting performances. Sarah Snook from Succession is Herschel's wife back in 1919. We don't get enough backstory, I would say, with her character, but she is involved. Yorma Taccone from Lonely Island is in this movie for a cameo. But really, it's really just Seth Rogen's movie. As I said, there's a lot of emotion that's really shocking. The plot itself was really interesting. As the trailer showed, he goes from having a wife and wanting his family to succeed to then waking up and understanding that his wife is dead, his son is dead, and he's just down to this one person in his family left over. And Ben, who is on my left, he has a really rough past. We find out some things about what his parents are, Herschel's grandkids are, what happened to them. Ben is trying to run this app as a business, but no one's really taking his work. He's been working on it for 5 years, but now Herschel comes along and he just wants to run a pickle business, and it's currently interfering in whatever Ben wants to do in his life. So then stuff happens, stuff ensues. But again, this is a non-spoiler review. So I really enjoyed this movie. It's a really easy to watch movie. The movie from start to finish, including end credits, is 88 minutes. It's an hour and 28 minutes. It's one of the shortest movies you'll probably see all year that's not animated. And it does feel a bit too long. It does feel long at times, but it is only 88 minutes, so it's a pretty easy breeze to watch on HBO Max. Seth Rogen should be getting a lot of credit for these roles, not because at times, yes, of course, they have those Seth Rogen isms. These characters are very funny at times, but the roles are very serious at times too. You got to take these characters seriously if you want to buy into the story. You need to care about both of them respectively. You don't want to care about these two characters because Seth Rogen happens to do a dual performance in this movie, which a lot of movies and shows mistaken with doing dual performances. Some shows and movies do dual performances just so their actor can just show off their acting skills, not have a good plot, and you just care about the characters because that's who the characters are. But here, even though they're both Seth Rogen, you obviously care because they're both Seth Rogen. You care about them because they're very distinct, and that's why Seth Rogen's performance is really great. They're both completely different characters going on completely different trajectories that sometimes have to link up to make it through tough situations, and that's why the movie does work. My favorite composers also did the score for this movie, Michael Giacchino. Really good Michael Giacchino score once again in this movie. As well, I'll say I do have a couple issues with the movie. The movie knows exactly what it is, but at times it does that pushes the line on that. There's a lot of conveniences. There's stuff that they just don't explain that just wouldn't happen in today's time. The rise and fall of Herschel's character in today's society doesn't really make a lot of sense if it happened today. And it makes a lot of the people in this movie really dumb. The citizens in New York and Brooklyn, it makes them seem really dumb at times in this movie, the way they treat Herschel, because they go from really liking him to really hating him, and the back and forth doesn't really make a lot of sense. Because if you have common sense, you would understand how you would treat someone like that. But this movie kind of throws that out the door at times. Ben's character, you understand where he's coming from, working around this thing for 5 years, but also you're kind of losing faith on him at times with his character. He does a lot of bad things to Herschel in the movie, and sometimes you don't really root for Ben anymore. And I think you're always rooting for Herschel throughout the movie, even though he says some really bad things that obviously from 100 years ago worked, but today, 100 years later, definitely doesn't work, which I think is a positive and a negative with the movie. Some of you guys might take what he says really personally, and I think that's the point. Now, for some of you might not like that about the character, but also for me, I really enjoy that, because what do you expect? He lived 100 years ago. Times were different. The things you say about different people are different. What do you expect was going to happen? So with this type of movie, you gotta live with that if you're going to enjoy this movie. For me, the ending didn't really make a lot of sense. The resolution to the problem, again, didn't really make a whole lot of sense. But as a whole, guys, I really enjoyed An American Pickle, the very first HBO Max original film. I'm going to give this film a 3.5 stars out of 5. A 70% for me is right where it needs to be. It's a very solid film. Is it the best Seth Rogen film? Definitely not. It might be the best Seth Rogen performances that we've seen. It's not my top. I probably won't watch this movie again for a while, but I really enjoyed the movie. It's a really fun time and a fun 88 minutes. If you like HBO Max or you have HBO Max, I already have a lot of videos up on HBO Max. I have a full review on the platform HBO Max if you're interested in getting HBO Max, or if you don't, or if you have it, you want to see what my thoughts are. I also reviewed the very first HBO Max TV show, Love Life with Anna Kendrick. That's also up on my channel. And now I have the first HBO Max original movie up here on my YouTube channel. Please, guys, do all the things to support me. Like the video, share the video, comment down below, subscribe, do all of those things. Tomorrow I'll be back with you guys for another Netflix movie review. See you guys soon.